about editing. Hold on, I'll wait, no, wait, connect. Hi, Jennifer.
Hi.
Nice to see you.
It's always good to be here. I'm glad when I can make it.
All right, I think we're connected now. So welcome everyone. For those of you that don't know me, who are watching on YouTube here, my name is April Cox, and this is Self-Publishing Made Simple. Today we are going to be talking about identifiers. I thought I would start with that topic because it's one that I think people know a little bit about, but I thought I'd take 10 or 15 minutes or so and talk about book identifiers, and then open it up to your self-publishing questions. So if you are watching on YouTube and you have a question for me, I am monitoring the chat, so go ahead and post your questions. And for those of you joining me live, feel free to do the same. If you are on YouTube and you want to join me live, go to aprilcox.com/events, and it will redirect you to the right Zoom link so that you can come and join me live with the rest of the crew here. So without further ado, we will go ahead and move forward. First thing with regard to identifiers, book identifiers, is your ISBN. And that is the book's ID, kind of like a social security number that we have for us. An identifier, when it comes to ISBNs, if you're working with a hybrid publisher or you're working with someone helping you to publish your book, they might say to you, we're going to give you or we're going to sell you ISBNs. Don't do it. Don't take somebody else's ISBNs. Actually go and create an account. If you are in the US, it is myidentifiers.com. I'm going to go ahead and myidentifiers.com. That is the link for Boker, who is the authority and the central place where you should be purchasing ISBNs if you're in the US. If you are in Canada, you are lucky because you don't have to pay for your ISBNs. So there's a different place that you need to go. I would just Google that, or I can, I know I have it on my list. It's just not off the top of my head. So if you're in another country, just Google Canada ISBNs or wherever you're from, and find out whether or not you have to pay for them or you need to purchase them. In the US, we do purchase ISBNs. And so myidentifiers.com will take you to Boker. My recommendation is that you purchase a block of ISBNs. If you can do more than 10, wonderful, but I would say the minimum would be 10. And the reason I say that, I'm gonna share my screen. Why not? I'm just gonna go to Boker and I'll walk through some of this with you. Going to myidentifiers.com, and I'm going to go ahead and share the screen here. And what you'll see here when you get to Boker, and you're going to go and sign in, create an account. And when you look here, sorry.
Oh my God.
Hey, if you are, I'm going to mute you guys that are coming in. So please keep yourself on mute unless you're asking a question and just because there's a lot of background noise. So again, we're here on my identifiers here at Boker, and I'm going to go ahead and move forward. If you look here, you see buy ISBNs. And if you click on that, you're going to see the pricing for the ISBN. So I wanted to just show you that if you're purchasing 10 ISBNs, a block of 10, it's only $29 each. So it's $295, $29.50 each. If you're buying them one at a time, okay. If you're buying them one at a time, it's $125. Now, if you're creating a book for yourself, you are going to have multiple different formats of your book. You might have a hardcover, a paperback, and an ebook. that it by itself could be 3 ISBNs. Each one needs to have a different ISBN for the different formats. And once you've got those, maybe you want to have an audiobook, right? That would be a fourth one. So it quickly becomes very valuable. If you were doing just 3, that would be $375, where this is $295 for 10. So it's kind of a no-brainer. If you can afford to do more, $575 for 100, that's a steal, but it's sometimes that budget is just not for everybody. So think about it. There's additional things here. One of the things that will happen when you do click to buy with Bowker, let's just say I add this to cart, they're also going to try to upsell you. Buy a barcode, $25 each. They've got this online marketing tool. You don't need these ebook creator. I wouldn't even worry about all of these upsells, because you're very likely going to be working with a designer that is going to be able to create your barcodes for free, and you won't really need this ebook creator and things like that. $139, forget it. It cost me $30 for an ebook. So yeah, don't upsell. And sometimes I see them adding things like copyright. You can go directly to copyright.gov and get your book get the copyright done, and it's only $65. So there's no reason to fall for the upsells. Just get the block of 10 and move forward. Now that's one of your ISBNs. The next one, that's one of your identifiers. Once you have your ISBNs, the next thing that we do is we go to the LCCN. This is a Library of Congress control number. I will put all the links in the notes for this video and make sure that you have them as well. I'm going to go and share this one now in the chat here. This is the direct link to the page here where you can request or sign in to the Library of Congress. Now, if you click to request the LCCN here, that's going to take you to initiate a new Library of Congress control number. Now, if you're from outside of the US, you can choose not to, because this is really for United States, and it's for the library system here in the US. They create a special identifier and get you added to the system so that you're cataloged and that your book is listed there. So that would be identifier number 2. It's a relatively easy thing to do, to walk through. And I do have a step-by-step video on my YouTube channel that I'll also link in the show notes here, and make sure that if you wanted to walk through that process, you've got that as well. And I'm sure I have one for the identifiers for Bowker in signing up and purchasing, and then also in assigning those ISBNs, which I probably should talk about here. Let me, I'm going to take a step back for a second, because a lot of people do struggle with assigning and understanding that they do need to assign the ISBNs. So I'm going to go in and just quickly show you. I don't know why that's not coming up. Hold on. So Bowker, once you create an account for yourself and you purchase your ISBNs, you're going to be able to go here to my identifiers, and all of the identifiers that you've purchased will be here. I'm just going to go to like a page where we haven't assigned any. And you see all of these ISBNs that are yours that you can do with what you want. But in order to get them, like this one will be the hardcover, this one will be the paperback, this one will be the ebook or whatever, audiobook, you have to actually assign the title. And it's a little known fact. I find a lot of people coming through and having issues that what you put here in your title and subtitle are also checked when you set up your KDP title, your paperback. It's going to look here for some way they connect the two. And if the title and subtitle don't match what you're entering into your KDP, you'll get some obscure error that took me weeks to figure out when I first did it. So just make sure that the title and the subtitle match as you're working from your Boker account and assigning the ISBNs, and then also over to your KDP and your Ingram. You'll choose what medium, meaning, okay, if this is a print and it's the paperback, that's what they mean. If it's an ebook, then you can choose ebook, and you can choose the format. This is electronic book text, and here's EPUB or Kindle, right? So you have to actually select the type of format that it is. Then you'll also select the genre, and for us, it is juvenile, children's fiction, usually for the children's books that I'm doing. If it's family or if it's a different genre, you just pick the genre that's best for you. You'll fill out your contributors, your author, illustrator. If you want to credit your editor, you can put that in here. If you've got a narrator and this is an audiobook, then you can credit your narrator. And then they also want you to think about, and this can be an estimate, when do you think you're going to publish? So you can put an estimate here and then choose if it's a forthcoming book, it's not active yet, it's not ready to or being sold. I would just put forthcoming. And then the target audience, which is juvenile for us, for children's books, and then choose your dollar amount. I usually go for children's books, and I know many of my followers are children's book authors, so I'll just start by saying, go and look at your the competition, do your research. You don't want to be the lowest, you don't want to be the highest, you want to be somewhere in the middle. And usually for children's book authors, if you're going with print on demand as well, you need to have it high enough so that you can make your royalty is decent. So, between $3 and $4, $2 and $3. Usually for me on children's books, that means $13.99 for a paperback and $18.99 for a hardcover. So I would put that there and then submit, and that's the end of it. You don't have to upload a cover file if you don't have it yet. That's not a required field. Some of these, so only the ones that have an asterisk are required, but you can come back and put the book description in later and upload your cover. Those kinds of things are pretty easy to do. So you have to have things, let me just go back here, assigned in order to then use these ISBNs. I'm just going to go back to page 1. So we have these are already assigned for Cheryl. And so now, because it's assigned, we have the ability to use it. So she's got, this is an activity book. It's got all the information needed. And so we use this when we're applying for the Library of Congress and we're requesting that Library of Congress number. It asks a number of questions. Like I said, I probably shouldn't go through the whole thing, but it will ask you when your book is going to be live. And again, it's a target, it's an estimate, and then it'll ask you for each format and the ISBN associated with it. So those kinds of things are an important second identifier that you'll need for your book. And then third and final is once you get your Library of Congress number back, if you are not a publisher that publishes at least 3 other authors as well as yourself, then you don't qualify for the Library of Congress to assign you your CIP block. A CIP block is a catalog in publishing block of data that goes on your copyright page. And it helps libraries understand where to categorize your book. All of the traditionally published books have them. This is something that's an important thing in order to get your books into libraries. It may not guarantee your book will get into libraries, but without it, you may not be able to get into, it will prevent you from getting in. So a CIP block is an important piece of information. And I'm going to first start showing what is a CIP block. So I just want to go here, pull up a book that I have. Let me stop my share for one moment because I want to show you what it is and what it looks like and just answer some open for questions in just a short while. So give me one moment. Let's see. Here. Actually. So while you're waiting, I just wanted to know how many of you are aware of the identifiers, and do you have any questions specifically about identifiers and being able to create them? Are you getting stuck there? Is this complete news to you? Tell me more.
Can I just pop in?
Sure.
Hi,
Yeah.
this is funny because this is just what I was looking at today for Praise, to send my things to Praise for a graphic design. She wanted the barcode numbers, and I saw that buy now, but you've answered the question. I don't have to buy the barcode. I just send her the numbers that I have for my 3 formats.
That is absolutely right. She just needs that because she's going to go to produce those barcodes for you, and I'll actually show you guys the site that you can use for that to produce them. For those of you that don't have an amazing designer that says, hey, I'll do that for you. If you need to do it yourself, I can show you the site that you can do it for free. And it's very simple, but you don't have to worry about that.
The CIP block that we did, or I send in to Rose, was it Rose?
CIPblock.com, right?
There was a person, I sent her the information. She made a CIP block for me.
Yeah.
Is that the same
That is exactly what we're talking about for the next thing.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. All right.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome. You're doing good. All right. So
I have a question.
sure. Hey, Lois, I've been trying to reach you, but your emails keep bouncing for me for some reason.
Yeah, because I got to get rid of some of the emails I have on there, and I've been deleting them. So you've been trying to reach me?
Yeah, I was just trying to check in and see how things were going. And I know your illustrator was trying to get some feedback on the latest things that they sent you, and they were having trouble getting through as well.
Oh, that's not good.
So I'm glad you joined. Okay,
Yeah, because I have a question.
tell me more.
What if you already have your books published, but you want to now get that library number on your book?
If your book is already published, you could still do, you can't get a Library of Congress number, an LCCN, unless you already, unless your book is not yet published. So you wouldn't be able to get that, but you would be able to do the CIP block. So able to do the CIP block without the LCCN. They would just put everything together and still create that for you without that last piece of it.
So if I don't have, though, the Library of Congress, then they can't put my book in the library.
Well, the CIP block will help with that as well, so that you'll at least have you'll have the categorization that Adrian creates for you That's the woman who does things through the CIPblock.com. So that will help you get a little bit, at least you'll get something. They won't have the LCCN number, but they will have the other number that will help you understand, and it will still help the librarians to categorize your book, even without the LCCN. And it's just really changing, adding it to your interior and then re-uploading your interior if you're doing KDP.
Mm.
Okay.
So and then I would put it in and then reload it on KDP.
That's right. Yeah. So I'm going to zoom in to show you with one of the recent books that I've done with an author that I'm working with. Come on now. Why am I not seeing this? All right. So this here. I guess I can't do that. Too close here. What are we doing? Sheesh, hold on. I'm going to try to zoom in while I'm not sharing. I think that will make a difference. Sorry, guys. Bear with me. I'll get you there. Let's see. My computer is thinking it should be on vacation for some reason, I swear. Okay. Back to the last page here. So the copyright page for this book, they put at the end, which is different. You don't have to necessarily have it at the beginning of your book. I kind of like it there at the beginning because it sets the stage for people to know that book is copyrighted and that, you know, there's you have to have permission to use any of the information in there. So here, now I'm zoomed in on what this includes. So that should help. Hold on. And admit. All right. So here we are. This is the publisher's cataloging and publishing data. And this is a block of text that is typically left aligned and should be left that way. I need to talk with the designer here, make sure that we leave things the way that the CIP block is provided to us. So it has names like the author and illustrator. It has the title and a little short description about the book. It also has all of your identifiers, meaning the LCCN number, the ISBNs that you use, and some subjects that your book is about. And the librarian that does this for us knows a lot of some additional things that they need to add here. So that's some of the expertise that she defines and gives us with her, the stuff she's doing. And then we also includes BISAC codes, which are specific to the library, and that when you fill out your CIP block, you'll be asked for what are some of the topics that are specific for your book, and then the woman that does the CIP block will just evaluate all of that for you. So in this case, social themes, self-esteem, transportation, cars and trucks, right? We've got emotions and feelings. And then this classification here is something that means something to the libraries that won't mean much to us. But this is part of the copyright page. It's placed right there. It's not pretty, but it provides a lot of great information that the librarians need. Okay. Go ahead, Janet. Yeah.
Okay, on here where I saw the publisher on my block, it has a publisher name that I'm not going to use. I have a different one and a new logo, everything. Do I need to go back and do that CIP again? Or
what I would do is just reach out to Adrian and say, is it okay if I just replace that publisher name, or do you need to do something on your end? And she'll give you some guidance.
Great.
Perfect. Anyone else? Go ahead, Lois.
Oh, no, I already asked my question. I'm sorry.
Just lower your
Ah.
hand. Problem.
Oh.
No problem.
There. I'm
So-
sorry.
I share for a moment now. So you saw what it looks like for, what the CIP block looks like. So because we're independent authors and because we don't have, typically, we're not publishing 3 other authors plus ourselves, so we can't qualify for the CIP block through the Library of Congress. We have third parties like cipblock.com. This is Adrienne Bashista that does a fabulous job of doing this for independent authors. It is a service and it is a fee-based service that you will pay to get this done for you. And all of the information on what you need and what she needs to create it is all here on her website. It's just, you just go to the CIP service and then you fill out the information she's asking for and then send it to her by email and pay the fee through PayPal. She's got all of her payment information here. Very legitimate business, never had a problem with her ever. And I've been working with her for 7 years. So not an issue at all. Hi, Mary Jo, welcome. All right, so yes, very reputable, nothing to fear, because I know a couple of authors came to me and said, oh, should I send her money beforehand? And how is she really legitimate? Yes, she's really legitimate. There are other third parties out there that will create the CIP block for you. So you can do some Googling if you prefer. So once you get all of those things done and you've got all of those identifiers, now you're able to finalize what you need to do in order to get your book laid out. Like that's some of the final stuff. You want to make sure that your identifiers are in place so that when you're setting up everything for your book, it's all done the way that a professional and traditionally published book would be. If people in the industry open up your book and look at the title page, at the copyright page, and they don't see that, it's a red flag. Well, this is traditionally published. They didn't know what they were doing, right? That it's not going to get into libraries. If you go there to your librarian and you give a book, they're going to look and there's no categorization information in that copyright page, then either they have to create it all to do it for you, or they're just going to put it in a pile that someday that they hope to be able to get to, but if they don't have the information, they're not going to be able to sell your to have your book cataloged in the library. Go ahead, Jennifer.
So does this need done before the design part happens, or what should we do this?
Yeah, I would recommend it because from the time you purchase your ISBNs, you get immediately you get the ISBNs there, so you can assign those numbers. The Library of Congress has been taking, for the LCCN number, has been taking about 2 weeks to get back with the LCCN. So you can purchase your ISBNs and then go to the Library of Congress and apply for your LCCN number. But it's 2 weeks later before you finally get that back. And then you can go get the CIP block and then add another 3 days to get that back. So you need to have all those things done before you send everything to your graphic designer and format and design your book. Because that way you're not going to be on hold. As soon as the designer sees that you don't have everything that she needs to get things done, you may end up on hold and going to the bottom of the queue, and then they're working on other books where people already have all that information together.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome, Jennifer. Tina, I see your hand up. Go ahead.
Does it matter where that page is located? Does it have to be in the front of the book, or can it be in the back of the book?
It can be in the back of the book. Yep. Some people prefer to have it there based on, how the front of the book, what they want in the front of the book. and how their story lays out. So some people have, you know, a 2-page spread as their beginning of the story, and maybe that starts on page 4. And so if they've got a dedication, and then usually what I do is a dedication page, and then my copyright, and then my title page, and then my story starts on page 4. But if you've got a kind of a different layout, you might want your book to start on page 3, and you know you need to get an extra space, so you're moving things around and perhaps starting with your title page. We do have some flexibility on how we lay out the book. That's what the beauty is of self-publishing. We get to control that, and we get to move things to the back if we need to. And if you have questions, you don't have to go to your designer with all the answers. Your designer will help and advise you what the best layout is, and whether or not it fits well in the front or you need to move it into the back. Okay. All right. So I'm going to just take a quick look on YouTube here to see if we have any questions posted. Let me see. Okay, we have a few people watching here. No, I'm not seeing any comments or questions so far. All right, so that's my spiel about identifiers, because I think that's one of the common questions that I get. And I wanted to make sure going into this that you understand the need for them, why they're there, and how much of a lead time you need to build into this for your book. All right, and it's not something that you have to wait for. You can purchase your ISBNs right away or when your budget allows. So even if you're just finalizing or just got the idea in your mind about your book, and you've got a manuscript you're sending over to your editor, it's okay. You can start this process whenever you want. All right. So I'm going to open it up for any other additional questions. Feel free to take yourself off mute, or you can go ahead and add something into the chat. Let me take a quick look at the chat and see if there's anything there waiting on me. Okay. I don't see any questions yet. So tell me what you're working on. Go ahead, Jennifer.
Oh, I just have a question. It's something a little bit different topic, but I've been wondering about this, so I thought I'd ask tonight. So if we do print on demand, and you know how KDP and Ingram both have certain guidelines of what size your book can be, right? So, you know, we have to follow those guidelines. If we ever want to do offset printing, do we have to, I don't know what it's called, get something done again to the design process, something done again to do offset printing to make your book a little bigger or something, or a different size?
So what I would recommend is that if you really, you know, if your goal for your offset book, let's just say it's a 10 by 10, but that size is not available to you.
Mhm.
But 8.5 by 8.5 is for print on demand. What
Right.
I typically recommend is that you make sure that your illustrator creates things in a 10 by 10. And then, because it's easier to shrink the files. So
Okay.
and if you work with Praise, which I know you're working with,
Mhm.
if you let her know that you want a 10 by 10 version created, as well as an 8.5 by 8.5, they'll do that. She'll do that as part of your preparation. And if you know exactly which printer you're going to work with, they'll
Mhm.
create the offset print files for you so that you have them ready to go. That way you don't have to worry about going back and doing this later.
Oh, that's really good to know, because I didn't know. So that's really good. I was wondering about that. And I'm just, when I do it, I'm just straight up doing just print on demand for a while to see what,
Yeah.
you know, instead of incurring the cost and the storage situation. So.
I also wanted to do a shout out to Jenabeth Ortiz, who is here today as well. And she is one of my most cherished print partners. So if you're looking for information about printing, or you need a quote, or there's something that you have a question for her, I am happy to bring her forward, because and she works her company is Edge Printing. She works with Jostens and a number of other small mom and pop presses. So she has been such a consultative genius when it comes to printing, because it can be very confusing what to do, what size paper, what kinds of paper, how do you, what if you want to save some money? Are there, budget options and things for you? She is a fantastic resource. And Jenabeth, if you wouldn't mind putting your email address in there for those that are interested in connecting with you, I highly recommend adding her to the list of people that you reach out to for quotes on printing.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate it.
Awesome. Okay, Tina, go ahead.
When you're having your ebook done, you're doing your artwork for your ebook. Do you do that? Do you save that differently than with a regular book?
So what I typically do with the children's books is Praise, my designer, will go through and do all of the PDFs for the print copies. And then I have her do a low res PDF that can be, it's a smaller size. Can be sent over to, it can be sent by email because it's not. And then I send it to the ebook gentleman that I work with. And for like 30 to 50 bucks, I've got an ebook. So he takes the artwork that you've already got in, because it's the same book. And so what she will do, if you want your ebook to be 2 pages facing each other, so the spreads are really there, then the designer creates for me a 2-page spread, the PDF with a 2-page spread. And that's low res and that gets sent over. If you want it single page, so that it's bigger and it's easier to view, then that's the format that would get sent over to the ebook individual.
But you do that with the person that sets up your, like when I take my artwork and I send it to Melinda, I tell her I need it to be saved in a lower resolution in addition to.
So Melinda, Martin is a fantastic designer. And I think she has ebook folks work with her or for her that can do a lot of the same things. But yes, if you tell her that you want something in spreads or single in a low resolution, she can provide that to you. And if you have Adobe Acrobat, I have the DC version, which allows me to go in and open up PDFs, and then I can save them as low res. So it's easy to do if you have the right tools. And if you don't, send it to me and I'll create the low res for you. It shouldn't be a big deal at all.
Thank you.
All right. Awesome. Jennifer, you have another question? Go ahead.
I don't. I must not have lowered my hand. I'm sorry. Thank you.
No worries. No worries. So Lois, how are things going with you, my dear? I got to get you off of mute.
I heard from Praise. I had sent her feedback on the last sketches, but then she wrote to me and said, I didn't get any feedback from you. So I resent it because I don't know why she didn't receive that.
Okay.
So I haven't heard from her since then. But
I have a funny feeling that what's happening, she's updated the information based on your feedback and was waiting for you to get back with a final approval to go and create things. So the issue is your email keeps bouncing. So
I know, and I will take care of that. That's me. I have so many emails on there, and I was away, and so I didn't even bother with my emails. And I am like, it's crazy. It's crazy how many emails I get. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
And I got the note on my screen.
Okay.
So I will do that so that they're not bouncing anymore, because I do need to hear from her.
Yeah, and what I'll do is I'll message Praise to let her know that you're waiting, that just get a sense of what the status is. so that if there is anything that they're waiting on from you, and I think it's just, here's the copy, please review it and give me the final thumbs up so I can generate the files for you. I think that's the case.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Hi, Janet, go ahead.
Hi. Yeah, I need to send the slideshow that I made in Google Slides that shows how I arranged the book pages for praise. And the email, I tried to put it in an email, but it kept saying files too big. And I'm not sure how I share that kind of file.
How did you create the file? Was it in Canva, did you say?
No, it's in Google Slides. So I just have a,
Slides, because I think there's just a way that you can get the link right and just share that link with Ted.
so I could get like a link in Canva.
No. When you go into Google Slides.
Oh, get the share button. Share
Yeah,
it from the
share
share button.
and then you'll have it there for you.
Ah,
Be able to do that and just share that and paste that into an email, and she'll be able to see that.
yeah, no duh. All right.
No worries. Worries, that's okay. We embrace the technically challenged here. It's perfectly fine. All right. Mary Jo, do you have any questions that you have that you'd like to chat about? I keep seeing you going through some things. What do you have there?
Oh, I'm sitting on my porch.
Oh, okay. No, but I thought you had a book in front of you, or like pages
No,
of.
I was writing.
Oh, nice. Love it. Love it. So
Writing.
you're just joining us to listen in?
Just kind of, yes. I always intend to do these things, and I
Whoops, you're on mute again. Whoops. But I'm glad to have you. Thank you for joining us. You're always welcome.
okay, there it is. My
Yep.
husband's watching an MLB baseball game, and I don't care about that, so I'm on the porch watching you all.
Oh, awesome. Well, thank you for coming. Feel free to unmute and ask questions if you like.
And
Maria?
I'm self-published myself, so all your information is always excellent, excellent.
Thank you. That makes my heart happy to know that it's helping folks out there. Even if we've never met, if my videos have helped you to go ahead and move forward on your own, that just makes me really happy. That's why I put it out there, so that folks like yourself will not be taken advantage of, and they'll be able to move forward and not get fall into traps by predatory publishers, which happens way too often.
I've run into some of that. I'm older and I've been around a while, and had been published resource books, like 9 resource books.
Nice.
Then self-published 2, COVID hit.
Mm-hmm.
So I should have been doing picture books when I was 50 and not 80.
Hey, I love the idea that your brain is still working. You're still taking all of those great ideas, putting them on paper and getting them out and making a difference in the world. I love it. Love it. Thank you for sharing.
I owned a preschool for 38 years. So I've told more stories and created more stories than most people, because I just did that.
Awesome. Awesome.
So this is a new adventure, and I love your information, and I don't intend to be taken advantage of, even though I use the senior card a lot of times. It takes off.
That's good. That's fine.
Thank you.
To have you. You're always welcome here. Hey, Pat, anything that you have on your list, my dear, that I can help with?
No, not really. Just I've been trying to work on coloring books, and I see where Bobby Hinman has now produced 2 of them.
That's pretty amazing, right?
Yes. Who's doing her? I asked her.
I didn't
Did
even
she
know
do-
she was doing it. Yeah.
Who did them? She didn't do them herself, because I asked her, did you do these? Like, they look like they could have come out of Canva, but she said no, she had an illustrator, and I don't know who she used.
Yeah, I'm not sure because I didn't have a chance to ask her. Bobby Hinman, for those of you that don't know her, is like my go-to editor for picture books. And she's also got tons of books out there. But I think this is her first glimpse into more of the medium content and activity books. So yeah, I think it's kind of interesting that she's got that. As a matter of fact, this might be a good time for me to tell you guys that I have somebody coming in. Rachel Harrison Sund is going to be a guest speaker on a Marketing Monday. The last Monday of the month of June is coming in, and she's going to share all about being able to do low content books that supplement what we already do with our picture books. So that should be interesting. She'll be sharing a lot of her knowledge and secrets of ways of being able to do things in a very efficient and low budget manner. So I'm looking forward to that session as well. I'll be posting it onto the calendar probably later this evening or tomorrow. Awesome. All right, who else do we have? Randy, how are you? What's going on in your world? Feel free to take yourself off of mute if you can and ask your question, or you can post it in the bottom in the chat there.
Oh, sorry. Can you hear me?
I can hear you now. Yes.
Okay, great. Good. Sorry about that. Yeah, again, my name is Randy. I was just listening in several weeks, listening to you guys on the various Zoom calls. And I appreciate you, April Cox. Seems like you really genuinely care about authors. I really appreciate that. I attended one of the Zoom calls, I think of the very latest one with Miss Cadillac, I think it was. She mentioned that, well, I told her that I don't have any interest particular in, in the children's category in terms of, creating books for children. But I do have like religious type, inspirational type, nonfiction.
Mm-hmm.
I think I want to ask, do you guys work with authors in that regard? Non-cartoon, non-animation?
Yeah, absolutely do. I have quite a number of my authors who, are also children's book authors, have created spiritual books and workbooks, and one just recently published about church privacy and using, a nonfiction book for the church. So yeah, there's absolutely happy to work with you.
Yeah, tune in and ask the question before I, did this discovery call.
Mm-hmm.
So, is it okay to give you all a buzz? Because the discovery call, and just find out more about your program and offerings.
Yeah, absolutely. I'd love to hear more about what you're doing, and I'll put it in. It's aprilcox.com/consult. And if you click on that link, or you go to my website, which is selfpubmadesimple.com, and you click on discovery call, then you'll get some time with me and we can talk more about your particular situation.
Great. Thank you, April. I appreciate it. Thanks for all you do, and how do all the guys that's on the call. Thank you.
Thank you for sharing.
Thank you.
Jenabeth, I would love to have you take yourself off, add your video here so that I can go ahead and bring you forward. And then maybe you can introduce yourself and talk a little bit about what you do, and we can see if there's any specific questions for you. I see you're off of mute, Jenabeth. Can you hear me okay?
Hey, sorry, I can't put on my video. It's because I'm actually in the car.
Safe when you're driving.
And I tried to get in, try to listen in or what. So, yes, I am. So, but if everyone has any questions or any help, I'm here for you. When it comes to the printing side, I am one of April's arms.
Yes, maybe two. But yeah, so Jenabeth, you want to just do a little introduction? How long have you been in business, and what kinds of things do you do, so that people will know what they should reach out to you for?
So, hello everyone, and I think I see a familiar face. Tina, how are you? I think I still owe you a board book from quotation, and I just got that from my print partner in China. So I'm the helpmeet of April when it comes to printing. So anything that you need printing wise, I'm here for you. I've been in the printing world for, I would say, since 2020, and this is actually a pivot role for me um, as a result of the pandemic. And I think almost a lot of us or a lot of people have found their true passion during the pandemic. And that's the story for me. I used to be in the hotel industry. I was in global sales, but as everybody know, the pandemic, the number one industry that was hit was the hotel industry or the hospitality industry. And I stumbled upon a print broker, and I started selling for him. And I realized that, you know what? I've been a voracious reader since I was a kid. I love storytelling. And I found out that all the experiences I had in sales that takes more of a consultative approach is something that I could apply in publishing. And I would say that I've met so many inspiring minds and inspiring people that I would have not met. And just like April, it kind of brought me back to what my personal purpose is in life. And that is to help people achieve their dreams and their goals in whatever little way that is. And I think helping, it's like me taking what April has done with you to the finish line, because you have a very good product, but that product has to come to life in print. And that's what I make sure that it does. Your vision comes to life in print, and to help you navigate the nuances of printing. Because a lot of times, not all printers are made the same. Not all presses are made the same. So I can help you navigate that. And then at the same time, also find solutions in order to bring your vision to life without sacrificing quality, but at the same time, trying to balance that with your budget and your publishing schedule and plans.
Yeah. And
So
Beth,
go ahead.
You have short runs. So if somebody wants 100 books, that's okay. If they want 1,000 or 10,000, you've got different sources both within the US and then outside of the US as well, correct?
That is correct. So so if you just actually, one of the things that I've been doing with some of my customers is their files are not yet fully in its complete mode, but what they have is a preliminary. But then they do have a show, or they have to pitch it to a company or an organization. So I could do one book for you, but say you only want, I would say though, if you want to sell the book, right, and make it at least commercially viable, you could start with 100. And I have Jostens, who I work primarily here in the US, has a digital printing division, and they could do digitally produced books that is comparable in price with Ingram's part, and also with short turnaround, like seven days, 7 to 14 days. The only downside is that there's just a limited number of sizes, but I think for most children's book, you're dealing with standard sizes, either an 8.5 by 8.5, an 8.5 by 11. And then if you wanted to be a little bit of a landscape, I could also do 11 by 8.5. And then there are those that are not picture books, but more of novels and paperbacks. I could also do 6 by 9 and then 7 by 10 for cookbooks, So there's a lot of solutions that I can offer you. And then at the same time, both of us can grow together, because say you need more than 100 books and they graduated into 500 or 1,000. I have a printer for that. But what if, like I actually had a customer who went to about 20,000, but she has a strict budget because it's a company buying it. Then I have a China printer that I can go to do that. So there's a lot of possibilities. And what it is I know that a lot of authors, like to research themselves. But what I'm giving you is, I'm saving you time because I already know where to go. I have the resources. So I'm saving you time so you can concentrate more on the writing and on your marketing. So
a question from Mary Jo is asking Jenabeth, where are you located?
So I'm a nomad, but my home base is in California. The main plant that I work with in the US is based in Clarksville, Tennessee, and in Sedalia, Missouri. And then my print partners are in New Delhi, India, and in Hong Kong in China. And I kind of wanted to give you a background of my print partners overseas. My print partners overseas, I have fully vetted them. I've worked with them for many years. I see them every year. I play golf with the owner of the company. And the China printer is a publicly traded company in Hong Kong. And so you really have a printer that's reputable, not a fly-by-night, or, you don't know if they're using only a company's printing company and they're just employees there, because there are cases like that happen. And if I do the overseas also, I do all the logistics for you. So all you have to do, I take care of that. Because for instance, I do a lot of board books, but then there's only one manufacturer here in the US of board books.
Yeah, I know you mentioned that before, that I thought board books were really expensive. And you said that wasn't necessarily true. Can you tell me more about board books?
No, it's not necessary. I mean, it's not necessarily true, because again, because you're printing it overseas, that's why it makes it affordable. The only thing though is you're looking at transit time. So you just have to be prepared that it will take a long time. Typically it's about 60 to 70 days, but there could be weather delay.
Right.
There's,
all kinds of things. Yeah.
All kinds of things. One of the things that I've never encountered that delay one of my shipment just this week was when they were loading the container to the vessel, it's got a little dent on the corner, so it won't lock. So the vessel rejected it. And then so my books did not sail on the sale date that I told my customer. So those are the things that you just need to be
So
You just need to be prepared.
So I think what you're saying is if we want to plan for printing and we're doing overseas printing to get the price down lower, that we should give it, what, 3 or 4 months ahead of when you expect to go live with having those books in hand?
Yeah, at least 3 months, just
Mhm.
to be on the safe side.
So let me open up. So Debbie, go ahead. You had some questions as well.
Okay, there I am. When you receive the shipment from overseas, in the past, I've had to go to the docks to actually pick stuff up. If they're large items, and I was just wondering, how does that work?
I take care of all of that for you. So I take
Awesome.
care of clearing it in customs. I take care of it, everything that needs to be done there. And then I take care of it, shipping it from the port to your door.
Okay, cool. I like that.
Yeah, and your quotes include all of that pricing as well. Is that right, Jenabeth?
So for overseas pricing, I will include, it's the price is going to be definite. I will include the price of the book printing and the price of shipping from China to a US port. I will give you estimate in terms of percentages on all the other expenses.
Okay.
So you've got your custom fees, you've got your freight forwarding fees, and then you've got the shipping from the port to your door. But the percentage that I'm going to give you, or the estimate I'm going to give you, it doesn't deviate that much from it.
And for those like me who really, don't want to see money going out to China or waste of the fuel that comes with the boats, having their books on a slow boat from China, I will, you have US based options that are printed here and that are still very affordable. Isn't that right?
Yes. And I'm just like April. I really don't like giving my money to overseas because we need to fuel our own economy here. But there are just certain projects that we can't produce here. Like I can't produce board books here. I can't produce books with slipcases, here in a very economic, cost-effective way. Not one printer would be able to print 100,000 books.
Right.
So there's just certain things, and for me, it's just I just don't want to leave money on the table. But if I can keep the job here in the US, that's what I'm gonna do.
Okay. And that's good because when you work with Jenabeth to get some quotes, she'll give you the heads up on, places that you can save some money. Or I know there was one individual who had a specific specs that she gave, and then Jenabeth came back and said, you can add more pages and that will actually save you money. And I was like, what? How does that happen? But to have somebody that is very consultative and is able to advise you on, instead of just taking the order and moving forward, which is what a lot of the printer folks that I've worked with in the past will do, she's there wanting to make sure that you have the very best possible product, the best deal for yourself, and that you understand if there are ways, like if you do just a little bit more or a little bit less, there's just lots of opportunities. And when she shared a quote with me for board books, I was stunned because I've never seen that low pricing for board books. So there are lots of opportunities to just reach out. And I also want to say that print on demand is also a great option for you. You can start with print on demand, or you can have both print on demand and some printed books for yourself, because I always do both because I want print on demand to also, have my books be able to be sold on Amazon and also on Ingram and made available in their distribution network. But I also like to have the print copies of, some for selling on my website, doing events or school visits. And the price that I can get through Genebeth, it meets or beats Ingram, and I get a much higher quality. So if I want to create get a couple hundred and I order it from Ingram, that's, okay quality, but Genebeth will beat that every time with the printing that she does. And I love that we have that option. Even for smaller amounts, we can do something that allows us to have really high quality books we can be proud of, that are beautiful and bright and with thicker paper, and the ability to add embellishments and things like that, depending on the size and what you're looking for. And Genebeth can advise you on that as well.
Yeah, no, that's one of the things that I do a lot, and which is also on my wheelhouse. And I know that, there are different philosophies when it comes to picture books. Some would like it just simple, as long as, the color really is consistent. But in a very crowded children's book market, you want your book to stand out. And I can't stress enough how April and her team has poured, their effort and dedication to come up with a really good picture books, because I've printed a lot of children's books, and I can't tell you that some children's book I have to make a gentle recommendation or gentle feedback on, it has to improve. But with April, all the books that come out of April, they're really very good quality books. So you want to complement that with great printing.
Yeah, that's the goal, is that we want our books to stand beside any traditionally published book in the bookstore, and no one would know the difference, right? We want something we can be proud of. And so always that's the goal for any of the authors that I work with. And that's, and having a partner like Genebeth really does help. Debbie, you had a question, go ahead.
Yes. On offset printing, my book is 5x7. Is that an option for that?
So for digital printing, I can't do 5x7, but for offset, I can do any size. Because I can do all custom sizes with my offset printer. But for my digital printer, I'm very limited with the sizes. And offset, I would say offset usually starts at 500. 1,000 and 2,000 are your sweet spot. You're really going to get good prices for that. But if you want all the other, embellishments and sizing, then the offset at 500 will still give you a competitive price.
Great, thank you for that. Mary Jo asks, if I worked with you and you did my printing in Clarksville, Tennessee, could I pick up the books instead of shipping?
Yes, you can. Yes, you can.
Good.
I do have customers who live close in the area and they would rather have it picked up. And then there are cases that because of timeline, it just makes sense for them to pick up the books than for it to ship out.
This has been very helpful. Thank you for joining Genebeth and answering the questions. And for those of you that would like to reach out to her, you can see her email address, Genebeth, Genebeth, Genebeth.ortiz, ORTIZ, at jostens.com. And Jostens is spelled JOSTENS.com. And I'm putting that also in the comments as well and in the chat. All right, well, you guys, we did go over on today, so I'm going to stop the live stream and I'm going to stay a little longer with my group of mastermind folks that are here with me. So for those of you watching on YouTube, have a wonderful evening, and don't forget to subscribe so that you can be notified when I go live like this or when there are new videos